We welcome you back, all the members. After the delicious breakfast, now we'll be having the second inning. And that too on a same topic, bank branch audit. Only the difference is, in the first sessions, Sandeep sir enlightened us on the LFAR. Now on the second session, we invited CA Pankaj Tiwari ji. Pankaj bhai, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and your valuable time. The topics allotted to the second speaker, it is on the IRAC norms and the practical aspects of the bank branch audit. So we welcome you, sir, with a round of applause. Now to formally introduce our second speaker, I would like to invite our past convener, C. Harsh Bajaj ji. He will formally introduce the second speaker.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jayesh Bhai and JV Nagar CA Study Circle for giving me this opportunity. CA Pankaj Tiwari. He is with CNK and Associates LLP. He is qualified as a chartered accountant in May 2012, having experience of more than 10 years. Currently involved in the audit and assurance services along with consultancy services like due diligence, valuation, etc. Previously worked with BSR and Company LLP in the financial services segment. Handles audit under various GAAP, Ind AS, IFRS, etc. of various listed companies. Specialization in audit of banks, NBFC, HFTs, and many listed companies. He is member of AASB study group of guidance note on bank audits, expert panel of AASB on bank audit. He has contributed in various publications issued by WIRC, such as Statutory Audit of Bank Branches, background paper on concurrent audit of bank branches. He is regular speaker on Ind AS at various forums in India and overseas. Also regular speaker on Companies Act and other topic on account of BCAS, SIRC and WIRC. With these few words, I present before you on behalf of JV Nagar CA Study Circle, CA Pankaj Tiwari on the topic IRAC Norms 2.0 Practical Issues. Please welcome him with loud applause. And I invite Jayesh Bhai Shah to present memento to him towards our love and affections.
Good morning, everyone. Say loudly, good morning. The topic is such you have to be a little attentive. It's an IRAC norm, and wherever I have spoken, yesterday we were at Indore. There was a whole session on the bank branch audit. This was the most important topic which was sought by the audience. And when they approach me, or when the JB Nagar or any other branch approach me to speak on this topic of IRAC norm, I was wondering what should I speak? Because there is no change, right? How many of you are, done the branch audit in the last year? Just raise your hands. Right? A good number of people. So when I was wondering that what I'm going to speak on, because there is no change in the IRAC norm, there is no change in 90 DPD, still remains the same, no change in the provision, nothing coming new. What should we speak on then? Then I looked up my last 1 year doing a bank audit, a private bank. We saw the issues which were highlighted by us, which were highlighted by the other auditors. And when I started putting those issues, let me tell you, I have curtailed it down. In IRAC itself, I have not included some issues from in the presentation. There are many changes. It's not important whether there is a change in the current year. It's important whether we have understood the change which was there in the previous year. We might have reported in the LFAR as a clean, in a positive affirmation, but have we tested them? Have we looked up them carefully, analyzed it? And this I'm saying only and only because the reduction in percentage of advances of a branch audit is not a one-day decision. It's a thoughtful decision by the RBI. We were on the panel with a certain banker on 18th March at WIRC. Some points were highlighted by them, which may be true, may not be true, but this was highlighted by them that auditor change हो जाता है, observation last year के ही रहते हैं LFAR में. The copy paste model, which is there. IRAC 2.0, I have written it 2.0 only because it is a 2.0. People who would have read 2015 IRAC norm will understand the changes what is there in this IRAC norm. There were 3 to 4 changes in last year if you look at it, or I can start from 2021. In 2021, the RBI started coming up with new format of the LFAR. They come up with the new format of the LFAR. Lot many new things were included, lot many, updated things were included. Like for example, what Sandeep was discussing in the morning. Earlier, you were only supposed to look at whether the stock audit report had been obtained or not. Now it says that whether the stock audit report has been obtained, and also the negative observation in that has been looked up at the branch. So that is an extension. So if you look at the whole LFAR, it was like updation of certain clauses, inclusion of certain new clauses, and enhanced reporting of certain additional clauses. These were the 3 segments. 21-22, last year, all of you who raised their hands audited the branches. That was the year when the IRAC norm got changed. And it was changed. We will understand how it was changed. People who are familiar will understand the implication. Third point, expectation of regulator. In the morning, Sandeep mentioned about the Center of Audit Quality has issued a Excel utility, the beautiful utility. And I would request the convener download that utility and circulate in the group. It has not been done. Let me tell you, my friend, many seniors are here, they will realize that 1st April 2025 is the year when the firms or the practicing chartered accountants who are doing the bank branch audit will be subjected to peer review. 1st April 2025. Whenever this kind of peer review happens, they look at the files of previous 3 years minimum. But you have to give a certificate as a peer review. 20 to 23 is the first year which will get picked up for getting the certificate which is applicable from 1st April 2025. And you know, after you sign the branch manager doesn't recognize you also on the list. It's better to keep all those documents, information, etc. along with you. And that was one of the reasons why the CAQ came up with this exercise. There has to be a standardization in the document. And it's a beautiful utility. I request it to get circulated. And you can look at yesterday on Center of Audit Quality, there was a demo which was done also.
You can look at that video itself. It's an important one. Coming to the topic, I had two points in my mind when I was preparing this presentation. You know, just to give you a 30,000 feet overview, what is IRAC norm, you know, what is 90 days, out of order, कैसे compute होता है, so on and so forth. Or the second aspect which was there, let's get to the circular, even if we look at 5 to 6 key points. And I'm only gonna speak on 5 to 6 key points which are there in the presentation. I will not be discussing the whole IRAC now. I will not be discussing the whole IRAC now. I think I don't need to. All of you can hear me? Yes. So I had two things in my mind when I was preparing for this presentation. Or let's get to the circular, let's understand 7 to 8 key points, which will either directly flow to your LFR or will directly flow to your emotion. They will not go anywhere. And those are the points which are picked up for today's discussion. So some non-regulatory development which is there, which is nothing but like the important one to focus upon is this. RBI's focus on asset quality. Yesterday there was a meeting with the public sector bank in the finance ministry. This is one of the points which has been again emphasized, obvious reason, because since last 10 to 15 days, the focus has been come back again on the banks. And when the focus shift on the banks, it automatically shift on the auditors of the bank. So it's an important one. You need to look at it in the current year. This is all you are aware about it. I'm just repeating it. The percentage of advances have been reduced from 80% to 70%. From 23-24, it is given up to the banks to decide what is the coverage of the advances they want to cover for the audit purpose. And you know, this comes with a precondition. This comes with the condition that they will look at their centralized system. They will look at that what are the documents which have been digitized at their place. You can't just take an arbitrary view that I will reduce it to 50%. So obviously, from banks to banks, it will differ. From the banks to bank, it will differ. And it might not remain at 70%. Some banks will continue at 70%, some banks might come down. Like, for example, Bank of India has not reduced its coverage of advances at 95% only. It is still at 95%. They have not reduced the number of branches. And that is the ED was also present in WIRC panel discussion. And he again reaffirmed that Bank of India will not reduce the percentage of advances, it will still continue at 95%. However, every bank might have different approach to it. This is, I am just giving other point, which is the important changes branches per firm. Obviously, as you are aware, the branches per firm has been reduced to 2 now instead of 3, which was there earlier. So this time, many people might get chance, but that may get negated by reduction in the percentage of advance. Because 80%, you know, higher number of branches were there, 70% the number of branches might reduce. Any idea how many, what will be the percentage, or what will be the number of size of the branches which would be getting audited across all 12 public sector banks? Any rough numbers, any estimate? Anybody? No, I'm asking number of banks. Overall banking. Well, what is the rough estimate? 300. Overall banking, all 12 public sector banks put together. How many? Less than 20. It's around 46,000 in 2021. In 2022, we audited as a whole branch auditor around 33,000 branches. It was reduced from 46,000 to 33,000 only because of this reason. 80% to 70%. This implication will come in the current year also and going ahead also. IRAC 2.2. Let's understand which are the areas which are untapped, or which are the areas which, as an auditor, we might not be aware, or we might have tested but not documented. All people who raise their hands that they have done the audit in last year, I would just want to ask a question.
what was the biggest change in the last year in IRAC? A simple question. Then I will get on the topic. What was the biggest change in the IRAC? Okay. Due to COVID, there was a lot of COVID restructuring circulars were there. 1.0, 2.0, MSME 1.2, 2.0. When I say 2.0, August 6, 2020 circular, 2 circulars issued that time. And then in 2021 also they issued a circular. Anybody else? Any other change? IRAC, what was the change? Last year. There were 2 circulars which were issued. And that's why I said I will get on the circular. There were 2 circulars which were issued November 2021 and Feb 2022. These all were implemented in the last year. Sorry. It is other than restructuring. Restructuring those 4 circulars for application. Number of advances, check the that was the change in the LFR, wherein all the auditors, whenever the RBI used to write a letter to them, clarifying that please say why you have not downgraded this account. They always used to reply that this loan was never part of the sample. That's what RBI introduced. Now we give the list of the sample in the LFR which you have audited. And we'll ask you questions from there. IRAC 2.2, the change was, and I will discuss those circular, November 2021 circular and Feb 2022 circular. What was the change? There were 2 changes. One, the date of NPA was changed. The method of determining the date of NPA was changed. Second, out of order criteria was changed. The biggest impact was there because of out of order criteria, change in the out of order criteria. And we will spend good amount of time on understanding what was the change. The other point which is there, first, so our first discussion point will be on IRAC 2.0. What is the change? The second is COVID 2.0 restructuring package or COVID restructuring package in general. If you go to any branch today, some or the other branches will have a pool of restructured portfolio. Agreed? It will be either an MSME restructured account or it will be a normal restructured. One of the contentions of the RBI is that today's auditor or even the branch auditors are in a manner in which it should have been looked at. And it's an evident because if you look at the reason for divergence, everybody divergent. Divergent is that what auditor has certified and what RBI is coming out with the NPA is coming from the restructured account. And as an auditor for us to understand that what are the typical points I need to look at it when I'm looking at a restructured account. They are different. They are not the same. आपका 90 days पे NPA बनेगा उसका date of NPA 91st ही होता है. It is not the case in case of restructured account. In certain restructured account, the date of NPA goes back to the date of implementation of restructured. We have to be careful because it can't be done through system. It cannot be done through system. And if it is done through system, well and good. But are we checking it? And are we opining on it? That's the second point which we will deal with. The other is monitoring pool of restructured account. All of you are aware, upgradation of accounts. When the whole recovery is done, the accounts get upgraded. Am I clear? This is not the case in case of restructured. Again, you have a different condition for upgradation. That means any upgradation of the current year, which is coming from the pool of restructured accounts, has to be treated differently as compared to your normal upgradation. It is not the case which is there in case of normal. The last point, retail loan portfolio. All of you are aware there is a 5 or 6 rate hikes have happened in the interest rate of advances on the retail loan because repo rates. What are the issues as an auditor I need to see in those kind of cases and whether there is a potential NPA return, which we as an auditor need to look at. Might classify, might not classify. But as an auditor, I should be aware about that implication. The last point is on the certificates, etc., which I discussed, mainly relevant for the SCA. All of us might be issuing the certificates. Certificates are issued with a limited assurance or with a reasonable assurance. Everybody, correct? Till today, has anybody asked you to give the reason for limited assurance? No. Nobody has asked us to give the reason for limited assurance because it's completely upon the auditor's professional judgment that what kind of certificate I should be issuing depending upon my audit procedure. And the RBI circular, this is the extract of the circular. It says that SPAs or SS shall indicate in every certificate as to whether the same has been issued with a limited assurance. In case of a limited assurance, the SCA or SS shall indicate the reason for it. It cannot be at a branch level because these certificates are normally issued by the central staff auditor, but they rely upon the certificate which is given by the branch auditor. So your certificates might undergo a change, not necessarily the central staff auditor are okay with it. This is the one change which is creating such a hurdle amongst all the central staff auditors. Because if you look at the guidance note, there is no direction to say that where to give the reason for limited assurance. Should I include in my other matter paragraph? Should I include in my opinion paragraph? Or should I put it in my auditor's responsibility paragraph? Anyway, that is the central auditor or direct to deal with it. Before we get on the bank branch audit anytime, we need to identify 2 to 3 things. One, what are the critical issues which are there in a bank audit which I need to focus upon? Because I think somebody was mentioning that within 5 days, 6 days, how can you expect a branch auditor to know the whole branch and report upon it? This is the issue which everybody is facing it, right? Find 10 critical areas on which I should be focusing on. And on those 10 critical areas, I should be checking that what are the recent regulatory development which have happened and whether the bank has implemented those regulatory developments. That should be my first job because let me tell you, 80% of the things remain the same in every bank branch. Or if you look at the public sector bank, even after merger, most of the situations remain the same. And if you're a fund, if you've done what kind of situations will arise over. First, I need to identify what are the typical issues which I need to look at in the branch audit. Then list those issues. And as we have discussed, COVID 2.0 implementation, restructured account, downgrade, upgrade, how they have been upgraded, and for the retail loan portfolio. Before that, we also need to look at what are the regulatory developments which have happened. And for that, we need to go through the RBI circulars. Am I right? Now you ask me, Pankaj, every day RBI comes out with something new. I mean, as a branch auditor, what do you expect me to read all the circulars and be prepared for it? No. That is not the expectation. There are some key circulars which will have direct impact on your audit. And what are the key circulars we should be aware about? The first circular is this Master Circular on Prudential Law. There was a circular of 2015, which was an NPA. Everybody, circular got changed in 2020-21. They came out with a new circular. 1st April 2022, consolidated circular. So this is a circular which, as an auditor in the current year, one has to refer on NPA now. And we will discuss some part of that circular. On the banker also. And later, Pankaj, when the branch auditor approaches us, they approach us with something which has been changed years ago. Because what are you referring? You are referring to old circulars, or you are referring to old directions, which have been replaced or repealed by the Reserve Bank of India. That's why it is important for us to first look at it. What is the circulars which I need to look at it? So first being the consolidated circular on prudential law. Rest are normal. And I think some of them Sandeep had discussed in the morning. This RFP and EWS was discussed in the morning. Master Direction on Priority Sector Certificate. This you need to see if you are issuing a certificate on the PSL. All of you issue a certificate on the PSL, right? That the priority sector has been categorized correctly and it is validated properly. This is a circular which you need to refer. The next circular which one has to refer is this. I think Sandeep was mentioning this circular also. The consolidated circular opening of current account and CCOD account post April, which was issued in April 2022. This circular is consolidating all the information because this circular started in 2020. People who might be tracking would be knowing. This came in 2020. So there are many circulars which were issued subsequently. You need to read the circular and you will ask me that Pankaj, why this circular is important. Just hold for some time. This is the most critical circular to be read in the current year's audit. And I tell you why. Another third circular which one has to refer is automation circular. People who have looked at it in the current year, last year's LFR would have given positive. Anybody has given a negative automation in LFR? In any of your branches? Everything is correct subject to this NOC, right? That's a normal thing. Everything is fine, or yes, all okay except this MOC which I'm issuing. We need to look at it. Anybody is aware? What do you mean by automation of NLP? What do you mean by automation of NLP? System में ही सिस्टम ही एनपीए को आइडेंटिफाई। एनपीए के चार पार्ट होते हैं। एक होता है एनपीए को टैग कर, क्योंकि ये अकाउंट डिफॉल्ट है। दूसरा होता है वो अकाउंट कौन से कैटेगरी में जाए। इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी ऑल अकाउंट, राइट। सेकंड होता है कि ये अकाउंट कौन से कैटेगरी में, which account in which category it will go. Third is how much of the interest reversal has to happen on that. The fourth is how much is the provisioning need to be done on that. The concept of automation is not that only NPA tagging has to be done. And why I'm telling you this, all the public sector bank has created a myth that they have automated things. What have they automated? They have just automated the identification. They have not automated the interest reversion. Some have automated, some have not automated. And we will see how they have automated. So whenever you are writing in your LFR, I mean, I have been telling this, we have been implementing it wherever we do the branch audit, we do the central audit, and we have been telling the others also. Wherever you are writing that the NPA automation has been done, we need to be very clear, have we tested these things? That interest reversal has happened through system, provisioning has happened through system, upgradation and downgradation has happened through system, and your classification has happened. If these things have not happened, it is not that the automation has been done. So be very careful whenever you are writing in the automation, and there is a reason. The reason is very simple. RBI considers the statutory branch auditor or the central stat auditor as the first external party to report on the practices implemented by the bank. And if we are reporting that yes, the branch has or the bank has implemented the NP automation, we are confirming to their wrongdoing. It is better to report that this NPA automation has been done only up to the classification and not up to the interest reversal or not up to the classification or provisioning. Very simple, you ask me, Pankaj, all this theoretically looks okay, but how do I check it? Right? At the end of the day, when the file comes to me, how do I check it? Simple example. Basic. Security valuation. If the valuation report is more than 3 years old, what should happen in the system? What should happen in the system? The system should consider the value at 0. If your NPA report is considering the value at 0, that means the NPA has been automated. If your report is considering the value which is there in the valuation report, the system has not been. Because as per the logic, all things should be automated. Classification, provisioning, so on and so forth. So this is a third circular which one has to look at it very carefully in the current year. These are some, all of you are aware about it. Guidance note, technical guide on LFR and IRAC. These all are institute publication, and many a times we get many queries on LFR. Pankaj, isko report kaise karna hai? How should I report like this? How should I write like this? This technical guide on LFR has been prepared completely from practical aspect. Anytime if you face any challenge in this reporting on the LFR, first you should refer this document, because it has been prepared to another member that how to report under different situations. I know this guidance for this too bulky, and we have tried to cut it down as much as possible, but still if we cut it down, it will lose its relevance. So that's why we have restricted it to whatever it is. Let's come to the changes now. Discussing these changes. So this circular, 14 September 2020 circular, automation of NPA, FY 21-22, 1st October IRAC norm, and then there were two circulars which were issued on 12 November 2021 and 15 February 2022. This all has been consolidated in this 1st April 2022 circular, which is called as the IRAC 2.0 and which we have just discussed in the morning. Just now. The change which was there, this circular came first, basically the IRAC 1st October 2021. What was the change? By the way, this circular has been replaced. The change was that this. Have you heard any time that the provision has been made on non-fund based advances? Any time? Provision on non-fund based advances. So, always the provision was done on fund based advances. Because till the time the non-fund based advance does not get converted into fund based, we don't make a provision. So the exception which was made by the RBI may not come at the branch level because these are top accounts where resolution plan has been done as per 17/2019 circular. But this concept is there that you have to make a provision on fund based plus non-fund based advance. Coming to the first circular which was issued on 12 November 2021. There are 5 to 6 key points which were there. We will be discussing only 2 points from the circular. And my sincere request to each one of you who will be doing the audit in the current year, if we have not tested this logic in the last year, let's do it in the current year. Let's do it in the current year. The first change which was done by the RBI in November 2021 circular was the date of overdue got changed. The date of overdue got changed. You might have heard bankers arguing that if the demand has been made on the first day, the borrower has a time limit till 30th of the month to pay the due, right? Branches might be arguing, banks might be arguing, and if it doesn't pay on 31st or 30th of the month, then the account becomes an overdue, right? That was the whole debate which was going on in the market. The RBI first came and told them to all the bankers that please specify the due date of the loan in the loan agreement itself. The first line which is mentioned here. That please specify the due date. That means when the demand is gonna be becoming due. If it is becoming due on first, then the overdue is the next day, typically. If you say the due date is 30th, I will consider the 30th. Whatever is there, please mention in your loan agreement itself. Let's look at the change. This is the change. Earlier, the due date was 31st March 2020. The overdue date was 1st April. Everybody, next day it used to become overdue. The SMA reporting used to start from 1st April 2022 and NPA used to happen on 30th June 2020. Everybody, any issue with this? No, it was very simple. What was the change? The change was the due date was 31st March 2022. The overdue date becomes the same day. That means if you have not paid up to 11:59 p.m., the account will be treated as an overdue. And then the SMA will start from the same day, the NPA will be 1 day before. This was the logic which was changed in last year. Last year, this NPA date got preponed by 1 day. It is not important that the NPA date is shifting by 1 day. What was important that many of the banks were running this NPA on a monthly basis. Many banks. Quarterly basis, some banks. 6 monthly basis, some banks still running. Not a scheduled commercial bank. The first change they got is that this NPA has to be done on a daily basis. And this is not the requirement of today. This was a requirement of 2011. As an auditor, it is our responsibility to see that whether the NPA has run on a daily basis or still the NPA is running on a monthly, quarterly or whatever frequency they were trying to do. Because as per the circular, this is the circular of 2020. As per the circular, SMA as well as NPA shall be part of day-end process for the relevant date. Have we tested it? We have reported. many of the branch auditors have reported that this has been done at the branch. But many public sector banks have not done it till now. They are still running an NPA only for the month of March. They start running NPA on a daily basis. But still they run NPA on a monthly basis. So first point for us to, okay, what do you mean by day in process? Somebody has asked me in one of the conference. Pankaj, when you say what do you mean by day in process? You know, we know EOD which happens at the branch, right? End of the day. Is it the day in process? Can you call it as a day in process? The day in process is very simple. You have this source system, Pinnacle, correct? Many banks use Pinnacle, many banks use some different system also. You could have your NPA tagging module either here or in some independent system also, right? You could have an NPA system which is completely green system, which is Pinnacle. At the end of the day, this is different as compared to your EOD. On 11:59, till the time you are supposed to repay this. On 11:59 on 31st March, if you have not paid the money, ideally what will happen? Customer database, type of facility, position of demand and recovery. That means the demand was made on 31st March, but it has not been paid. All this data will move to the NPA system on T+1 day. That means today I am running, today is 26th March. Today's data will move to the NPA system on T+1 day. That means on the next day. And on the next day, what it will do, what the NPA system should ideally do, should ideally classify the asset into substandard, doubtful or loss, as we have discussed. Provisioning should be done, interest reversal should be done, and upgradation should be done. And this NPA system will send a reverse feed. What is the reverse feed? If you go to the Pinnacle, you will see SC01, SC02, the health code, which is tagged in the Pinnacle. That comes from here. If they are using independent, that has to happen on a daily basis. Classic Pankaj, how is the auditor actually, right? Because when you go to the branch, we have just given the NPA report of 31st March 2023 in the current. Every bank has a report which is called daily NPA addition report. Every bank, if they are saying that the NPA has run on a daily basis, they will have this report which is called daily NPA addition report. Whenever you are sending the initial requirement list to the branches, include this in your requirement list. You don't have to struggle later on. Just ask them any random 5 sample dates daily NPA addition report. That's it. If it is not there, that means the NPA has not run on daily. The NPA has run only on monthly basis. And give 5 to 6 random dates across the month. कोई January का दे दो, कोई February का दे दो, कोई और first quarter का दे दो. Give every random date, and you will come to know. This is the first in, by the way, my friends, which was supposed to be tested in the last. Changing from 91st today to 90th today. और एक बात बता, वो blindly write in LFR. One point, which is, and many banks are not implementing. Many are not implementing. Sundays, holidays are not an exception in the daily running of the system. That means if today the cutoff date has happened and tomorrow is a holiday, the NPA system has to run on the holiday also. There is no exception in the circular that it should not run on holiday. 99.99% banks in India are running this on T+2 or T+3. That means next day of the holiday. Is there anything wrong? No. Why? Because the NPA will be tagged on the same day. Either you run on T+1, T+2, T+3. But is it a non-compliance with the circular? Answer is yes. It is wrong? No. But it is not compliant with the circular, and I will report it. And as a branch auditor, I have reported in all the branches which I audited in us. We are talking about the outcome order criteria. Wait for 1 minute. The next topic is that only. What you're discussing about 90 days debits and 90 days credits, right? That's what you're discussing. That criteria is applicable only for CCOD facility. It is not applicable for term loan facility. There is a two different definition of an NPA by the way. One runs on 90 days DPD, which is completely on term loan. Another runs on out of order criteria, which is applicable on cash credit. What you are saying, 90 days debits and 90 days credits are applicable for out of order criteria, which is for CCOD, and we are discussing it. So the first point to note in the current year's same day versus next day, take 5 samples, not more than that. Just take 5 samples, identify the date of NPA, recompute the date of it. Has it happened on 90th day or has it happened on 91st day? Or all the banks in India today have issued a document which is called Consumer Education Literature Material on NPA. As per RBI, ये जो last point यहाँ पे है, okay, यहाँ पे, when you see this 13, yeah, last year they were supposed to issue a consumer education. That means many consumers were arguing that bank ने हमको बताया नहीं कि हमारा लोन NPA कब बनेगा. So what they said, you issue a guidelines in public domain and it is available on all banks. It's a beautiful document. What it gives you that when the account will get classified as an NPA, along with this kind of an example, each bank has issued a consumer education literature material. What we can do, we can pick up that consumer education literature material, see that how the bank have told that they are classifying as an NPA, and look at whether in system it is happening that way or not. If it's not happening, it's a serious issue there. Because you are telling one thing to the public and you are doing exactly the other thing in the system. So that is also one thing which one can check. Consumer education material on NPA. It's there on every bank's website. Pick up 5 samples for the current year, test this logic at least for 3 days. And document. Because if it is not being done, please raise it in your LFR. Because it's a serious issue. I tell you, my friend, 2011 also, the intention of the RBI was the NPA should run on a daily basis. And they had a huge issue with the branch auditors that none of them reported that it was not done. And when the auditor was questioned, they said RBI to pata. But as an auditor, RBI reporting the first thing because we are the first one to report. Then the RBI comes up and reviews it. So please look at this concept whether it has been implemented in the current year or not. Now coming to the madam's point on CCOD. Everybody CCOD 3 criteria. So first change we saw in IRAC 2.0 was same day versus next day. That's the criteria. Now we are coming to the second important change which was done, which was supposed to be tested in the last year on changing out of order criteria. Till last time or till 2021, CCOD accounts were classified as NPA as per the bank's wish. Every bank had a different method to classify accounts as an NPA. And the reason was that there was some ambiguity in the circuit. Like for example, if you look at it, what was the argument by the bank? Many banks were doing it on a quarterly basis. NPAs were in CCOD accounts were identified on a quarterly basis. What was the reason? The reason was this. First was very simple, right? What was the first condition? That the outstanding balance in CCOD account remains continuous in excess of sanction limit. Very simple. इसमें तो कुछ issue नहीं होना. If it is more than drawing power, you want NPA. 90 days to prevent. In cases, let's look at the track change. Outstanding balance in CCOD account, principal operating account limit is less than the sanction limit or drawing power, but there are no credit continuously for 90 days. As on balance sheet date. That they have removed. This was the condition why the banks were classifying the accounts on a quarterly basis. They were saying for us the balance sheet date means what? The balance sheet date means the quarter end date. Because as per the saving requirement, I am supposed to issue the audit, unaudited or review financial statement. So I will look at quarterly. This was the meaning of that has been removed now. In CCOD account also, now the NPAs are identified on a daily basis. On a daily basis. And how they will be identified on a daily basis, we'll look at the example. The outstanding balance, the third condition is where the change is. The outstanding balance in PCOD account is less than the sanction limit. That means you have not come in the first condition, you have not come in the second condition also. But the credits are not enough to cover the interest debited during the previous 90 days. That means you have got the credits, but those credits are so less that you are not able to supply your interest demand also. That means what? That means your business is weak or you are diverting the fund. And that's why the NPA, the account should be classified as a NPA. This has created a havoc. If you would have tested it last year, you would have realized. Look at this account. I mean, look at this example. What the RBI has done. ये minimize होगा क्या वो नीचे वाला? Excuse me. वो minimize हो सकता है नीचे वाला? Because you can't just see this. आप उसको हटा दीजिए. Because you could not see the example. See what has happened here. I am running an NPA on 31st October. Look at this example very carefully. I am running an NPA on 31st October 2022. I have to look what? I am testing only third condition, assuming that all conditions are satisfied because they are very simple conditions. I am running an NPA on 31st October 2022. It doesn't mean that NPAs run on month end of either. Don't assume that I have taken an example of 31st October means it has to be run on 31st October. It runs on a daily basis. Previous 90 days debits, interest debit 36, everybody, how it came? 11 plus 12 plus 13. Everybody, very clear? Previous 90 day credits 36. How come 36? October. The previous 90 days will start from 2nd August. Am I correct? I have to look previous 90 days. So the previous 90 days will start from 2nd August, and from 2nd August you have got credits 13 plus 7 plus 12. That's how the account will be standard on 31st October. Everyone here, the account will become NPA on 1st November. Because it has to run on daily basis. The account will turn on NPA on 1st November. Can somebody tell me why? The account is running turning NPA on 1st of November. Hang on. 13 rupees credit get excluded. Why? Because now the 90th day will start from 3rd of and not from 2nd of. This is the issue with daily NPA recognition. Because you are all aware. Account is get classified as NPA. What happens to the linked accounts? All get classified as NPA. Now look at the pattern of this account. What will happen if there is a credit on 2nd November? What will happen if there is a credit on 2nd November? Again, you will do 90 days debit, 90 days credit, and the account could be upgraded also. So that means the account get downgraded on one day, account get upgraded on the next day. And it has a serious implication because you can't upgrade the account if there is a overdue in the other account. Even though the CCOD might be eligible to get upgraded, but will not get upgraded. Why? Because there is a other accounts where there is overdue. If you would have analyzed it last year, you have observed that there are many CCOD accounts which are getting classified as NPA and are getting upgraded. So my second request to all of you is that we spoke about 5 samples. The 3 samples you will do for the same day versus next day classification. Please do 2 samples at least to test whether this logic is running effectively. You will ask me that, Pankaj, how should I look at this? Pick up 2 accounts which have been classified as NPA in the current year and look at this, whether the 90 days debits and credits were sufficient, and if they were sufficient, the account was not classified as an NPA, and when they became insufficient, the account got classified. It's a very important logic to test in the system. And I spoke about the consumer education literature material. This is also included. So if the banks have reported that they are doing the CCOD account also on a daily basis, then ideally it should be there in the system. Do you think it's a logical? RBI circular. Do you think it's a logical? Take care of you.
No, sorry.
It's also about interest only.
So you can really, sorry, I just want to ask a question on
Yeah.
that. Supposing only interest was there, actually it should not go anywhere on the 30%, 30 rupees was.
Very true. What sir is saying? Sir is saying, what is the default? The default is only 1 day, 13 rupees. The default is not on 90 days. The default is only on 1 day. He has not serviced the interest only for 1 month. And this is the debate which is going on with RBI. You are giving this logic. By this logic, if I implement the account, it can implement. Because you were saying previous 90 days debit, interest debited should be there to enough credit should be there. That is why many banks have implemented this logic, which sir is trying to say. Many banks have implemented, and it is important for us to know what is the logic is implemented at my bank, and from where I will get consumer education literature material, because the branch manager will be as ignorant as you are, even if he is aware about. The second view which has been implemented, which sir was trying to hint, is that what the banks have done, 31st July, let's suppose the interest got debited. Okay, 50. What will happen in that system? It will compute DPD 1. That means it has become overdue for 1 day. On 1st August, it will become DPD 2. On 2nd August, there is a credit and the DPD has become 0. The account will not get classified as an entity if it reaches 90 days. This is one view which has been taken by the bank. Largely, the banks have implemented this view. Both the logics are existing in the system. We were waiting actually for the RBI to clarify on this matter, that whether view 1 should be followed or view 2 should be followed. RBI has done the inspection of both the banks without any divergence and without any comments. As a responsibility, as an auditor, what is my responsibility? Simple. What the bank has disclosed in the public domain, are they doing on a daily basis or they are following the DPD logic? Whether the same has been implemented in the system. As an auditor, I should be looking at that only, nothing other than that. So, out of 5 samples, please look at the samples 3 for same day versus next day, and 2 for this daily DPD computation or daily classification of an account. Sir raised the point, I think, on the credits which comes in the system. I am giving you one example. Forget about the auditors, even the bankers are audited. Intentionally or unintentionally. Look at this example. You all are aware now current account should be closed. There is only one account, which is CCOD account. You can have only CCOD account with the bank. Take an example, if the borrower has to disburse for term for project work, when I have to make a payment to the third party. The bank has to directly make a payment to the third party. What will be the general accounting entry? TL will get debited, cash credit will get credited. Then what will happen? Cash credit will get debited and party will get credited, or there will be a transfer. Any errors can you see in this? Any issue you can see in this example? Right. That means what? In our example, the 30 rupees which you were taking as a credit could be a TL credit also. Could be a TL credit also. And ideally, this should get excluded from your out of order criteria. Because the bank cannot fund its own account. and term it as a repayment by the borrower. Write this in your LFR, none of the branch manager can counter it. Because today, in all the banking system, all the RTGS are done through operating account. You cannot use office accounts to the extent I am aware. Because RBI restricts the use of office account for transferring the fund. Everyone is using this. And by the way, they are not only violating this, they are violating another circular of RBI, which says, and that's why I was saying this consolidated circular of current account, which says that the bank should not route the drawer from term loan to CCOD or current account of the borrower. Since the term loan are meant for specific purposes, the fund should be remitted directly to the supplier. So if your bank is booking the CL disbursement and the branch manager will give you this on a platter. If you ask him how many TL or project loan you have disbursed, he'll be very happy if you talk business, other than audit. He will tell you, yes, I have disbursed in 5-10 cases. Look at those examples where the disbursement has gone. And 99.99% the disbursement could have come to the cash rate account. And if it has come to the cash rate account, he has violated two things. And unintentionally, he has violated the out of order criteria. So, when sir was saying, this becomes very important that what is the quality of credit which is coming in the system. As an auditor, are we looking at it or are we not looking at it? We are looking at it since very long. And there has been always a debate, right? Whenever you will tell him that, okay, this credit has come, but it has gone the same day only. This is not a correct credit, this is not a genuine credit. He will have 10 arguments to give you. Either way, he is having a business relationship, then there was a loan, he will give you later also. That there was a loan taken and there was a loan refunded also on the same day. But these kind of issues you can't argue. Because these are typically the issues related of non-compliance and intentionally or unintentionally banks are doing it. So as an auditor, we also need to move upward to our quality of observation. And if you put these kind of observation in your LFAR, which even the bankers would not be aware, because nobody has tested these things, and it is getting considered as a credit. Forget about the public sector bank. Half of the foreign banks would not be aware about it. So this is the first important point with respect to looking at the quality of credit. I'll move to the next one. This would be a very simple one for all of you. 30th August, 30th September, there was an interest debit. On 17th October, there was a credit which came. 31st October, 30th November, 31st December. All interest got debited, no credits. And then suddenly on 9th, and I'm giving all this to Pinnacle screenshot because these are not hypothetical data. This is Pinnacle screenshot. It is the content of the borrower. On 9th January, there is a 100 rupees credit which has come. Can you tell me why he will deposit this 100 rupees by cash? He has just deposited 100 rupees by cash. So credit in the account. Reason being, it is crossing 90 days. It is crossing 90 days. If you look at the 17th October, and he has done very smartly. He has not done on 15th or 16th. He has done on, I think this account should get classified as NP on 15th or 16th. Because that's where the 90 days expired. But he has not done it. He has done it on 9th January. So that nobody can catch. Because you will typically look what? You will typically look at the credits which have happened during the fag end of the NPA classification. As an exercise, you can take it, and I'm sure many of you or many of the branch auditors do it also. All cash deposit in the loan account below 1,000 rupees. All cash deposits in the loan account below 1,000 rupees. And you can get this from your cash book easily, available with the branch manager. Whether he gives you or not, that's a different story. But it is available in the system, and that's how this has been identified. Look at that and look at the cases which are there in the SME2 also. SME2, everybody, which is between 60 to 90. all those accounts, wherever there is 1,000 rupees less credit, less than 1,000 rupees, and the accounts which are running into Excel account, Excel reports also. You will get these kind of examples. The practices are still remain the same. What was there earlier? This was 2 to 3 things which I wanted to talk on November 2021 circular. It was supposed to be the last year guide. And only of you would have been a positive confirmation the LFR that has been implemented correctly. Nothing is wrong. No issues are there. The other circular which came is 15 February 2022 circular. Okay. Is anybody having doubt on this example? That Pankaj, you are running the entry on 31st October, right? Why are you taking 30 rupees as the interest debit? Ideally, the circular says previous 90 days, right? So ideally, what you should be doing, you should be starting it from 30th October. Why are you starting from 31st October? Anybody has this kind of a doubt? That why this 30 rupees should get included? The circular says previous 90 days, right? So from 31st October, previous 90 days will start from 30th October. It should not start from 31st October. Many banks had this kind of an issue. And RBI understood. And RBI said, previous 90 days period, inclusive of the day for which the day end process is being planned. That means it will include that day also. To that extent, RBI has gone this time. Let's look at the other example. And these are the typical examples which will have either implemented or not known to the banks. There could be only 2 situations. Look at this example. What is this example? Basically, there is Mr. A who has 3 loans: personal, housing, and auto loans. Now, these are outstanding. What is the status on 29 November? You had 30 days DPD, you had 90 days DPD, you had 10 DPD. Now, this housing loan should become an NPA. All 3 should become an NPA. Madam is very clear. All 3 should become an NPA. Why? Because you will tag the SIP ID of the borrower as an NPA or customer ID of the borrower as an NPA. The moment you tag customer ID of the borrower as an NPA, all facilities under that becomes a NPA. On 11th March, this is the status. What he did, he came back and he repaid the housing loan. So the housing loan becomes nil DPD. However, there is an overdue in this account and in this account. The bank have upgraded. The bank on 11th March has upgraded the housing loan from NPA to standard. And all other accounts automatically standard. Because what is the view of the branch manager? Which account was an NPA housing loan? I have done maybe. Is it correct or incorrect? Correct? How many are correct? Sorry, sir. NPA, it's not an NPA by the way. These are all below 90 days. They all are below 90 days. Yes, sir. Only interest or EMI, right? That means what? It should all be become. Are you all trying to say that all should become net equity? Not necessary. What till what should I brought it down? Both are 90 days below. So the branch's argument is that this housing loan I have done net equity. All these are below 90. So all accounts are below 90. So all accounts will get upgraded.
Because one was at NPA, all were at NPA. All need to get out of overdue.
All need to get out of overdue. So sir's point is that all things should become till liquid. Are you saying that? Or is anybody there who will argue that no? What was the account which became an NPA? The account which became an NPA, how will you? The branch has to do the recovery in which account? The branch has to do the recovery. Auto and personal became an NPA because housing went into the NPA. On standalone, they were never an NPA, right? They were never an NPA on standalone basis because if you look at auto loan was nil equity and on 29 November, personal loan was 30 equity. They became an NPA because housing loan became an NPA. So I just need to do the recovery in housing loan. Why should I do the recovery in the auto and personal loan? And both of them are below 90 days. Anybody in this project? Anyone? This was the logic which was sold to the auditors till today. Till today it was. Till last year. If you go and look your file of the last year, you will have this logic. There would be overdue in the other accounts of the borrower, but the primary account which got upgraded would be having their liquidity. Otherwise, there was no reason. And why it was happening, I'll tell you the reason also. And we go in the current year and check also, some banks are still continuing the same. Forget about the public sector bank. The foreign banks and the private banks are doing. What is the issue? And this is an important area which, as an auditor, I should be highlighting it in my MFR. What was the issue and why the branches were or bank were taking that view? Look at this wording of the circular. If the arrears of principal, interest and principal are paid by the borrower in case of loan accounts classified as an NPA, the account should no longer be treated as non-performing and may be classified as an NPA. Their reading is that this circular does not talk about linked accounts. Guidance on the linked account. The guidance is only on the account which is classified as NPA. What it says, you do a recovery. Once you remove the tag of an NPA from the SIP ID, automatically other two accounts get updated. That is why the RBI bought this tag. Why this required an insertion in the circular. In case of a borrower having more than one credit facility from a bank, the loan account shall be upgraded from NPA to standard only upon prepayment of arrears of interest and principal pertaining to all credit. So in this our example, the bank is wrong. We are seeing this here. If you get on the ground, it is still happening the same way. It has not been. But the system is not capable to capture this kind of an information. So today, whenever you are looking at the branches, look at the accounts which have got upgraded. And you can easily, people are, you will have young people in your team. They will understand. What you do a pilot on the whole loan book. Cust ID wise, how many loan accounts? Right, in the last year's NPA. Let's suppose you got an account which was there, one cust ID, 3 accounts. In our example, this cust ID will have 3 accounts in that cust ID, 3 accounts will be there. In the current year. And SMA reports which are generated on a daily basis. The day on 11th March, when the account got upgraded, I will look at the SMA report of that borrower. Whether in SMA report, all these accounts were having 0 DPDs on. Basically, the question comes is that how should I check it? Because on 31st March, I can go back and check those accounts. Because there will be a recovery in those accounts. And the overdue will be of today's date and not on the date when the account got upgraded. Because this is a daily upgradation and daily downgradation. Look at the SMA report of those accounts which are there in the cust ID. If the SMA report is having 0 DPD, that means the recovery has been made on that day also, you will be easily able to verify. But 95% cases, there would be an issue. And you would be having these accounts getting upgraded with these kind of. So this is the other point, my friends, which I wanted to tell you all. Same day versus next day, out of order classification. Out of order classification also, you look at it whether it is running on a daily basis or not running on a daily basis. What is the quality of credit which is coming? Link it with the example of a term loan disbursement. Because there is a non-compliance. And the third is the linked accounts classification. These are the points which I wanted to discuss with you on IRAC 2.0. By the way, I have just completed first part of my presentation, which is IRAC 2.0. The changes which were there in the last year, I have not discussed any changes of current year because there is no change. But these are the issues which we should be looking at in the current year from IRAC 2.0. We discussed about this compliance of April 22 master direction. We discussed on the reporting on different practices which is followed. CCOD daily basis or 90 days, what sir was saying, that it should start from DPD 1 from the day the interest got debited, or it should be on a daily basis. Linked account classification we just discussed. Manual intervention. Many a times, you know, you will have, by the way, the automation, once the automation has been implemented, there has to be limited manual intervention. That means what? There has to be limited MOCs for reversal of interest. Ideally speaking, after automation, you should not have any MOC. You should not have any MOC in the branches for FBA classification. Unless you find these kind of an image. I mean, this kind of an image, which has not been automated. Or you find the MOC where the security valuation is wrong. 3 years have expired, but the people have considered the security value. Otherwise, there has to be minimum manual intervention. If you are finding 10 MOC of interest reversal by yourself and giving an affirmation that the NP has been automated, itself is the contradiction. So, my simple submission to all of you is that if you have any issues in the IRAC now, because it's a very, very critical point at the branch, you might report it stopping you. Bring it in the main report. Audit report. Why? Because I tell you practically how it happened. Practically, the LFAR is not signed on the same day the balance sheet gets signed. LFAR gets signed, the time limit is 30. Any times your observation which is there in the IRAC, which is there relating to the IRAC, would not get noticed by the zonal office. But if you put it in the main report, see, branch manager does not understand difference between emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. I can write in any paragraph, and I can communicate to the central staff auditor. Because the reports are issued to whom? If you read the issued to the central staff auditor only. So I can communicate this IRAC related matter in my main report, even though I have recorded in my LFR also. It will get picked up very quickly from there. Because whatever may happen, all the statutory auditor has to go through the report of the branch auditor. It is not only by their code of ethics, etc., but by the standard of SS 600, to which they rely on. So simple is that if you find any observation in any of these matters, report it in the LFAR, but bring it in the main report. Here, these are the clauses in the LFAR where we need to report, and this is the most important clause. See here, to computer system without manual intervention. And this is the most important clause, whether the RBI guidelines on income recognition and provisioning has been followed. So look at these clauses very carefully before you write a positive affirmation. 2 to 3 issues more to discuss, and these all will be a different issue because I am not discussing the routine issue. I'll come directly on that issue. Over. Anybody has any hint on this matter? This is a burning issue in the banking industry. Yeah, please. Yes. See, after 2020, I believe the interchangeability is not allowed. That means you can't have the facilities sub-limit from a working capital facility what you're giving a NFP. NFP limit has to be sanctioned separately, and I think there's a that whether such kind of interchangeability has been allowed by the bank. If it is allowed, we need to report it. If it is allowed. Classification of cohort. Anybody has any clue on this matter? Typical husband-wife role. So let's first understand how the cohort, and let me tell you, this is again an MOC, which will directly come in the bank because no bank has implemented. Like the big account. Let's understand the co-borrower issue. What is the co-borrower issue? You have two people, husband, wife, father and son, could be any relationship. Could be two different parties also, right? Two partners going and taking a loan also, right? What happens? Both the people's income get assessed, everybody. Both the people's income get assessed, the loan eligibility gets determined, and the loans are disbursed. The difference is one person's photo comes on the left side, another comes on the right side. But both are the signatory to the loan agreement. Both are responsible for the loan repayment. Am I correct? There could be a situation where only 1% income has been considered. But then again, the second person has been made as a co-borrower. Because many a time bankers insist on adding one more person in your loan application. Because they feel that, okay, this guy will not, I will calculate that. This is different from a guarantor, by the way. Because the guarantor are never part of the loan application. Guarantors are taken separately. So what is the situation here? You have two people who have taken a loan, A plus B. Both the people's income might have been considered for the loan, might not have been considered. That both are responsible to pay the EMIs.
Yes.
Do you agree that both of them are defaulter if the account goes as an NPA?
Yes.
Do you agree that both the accounts should be classified as an NPA once it gets classified as an NPA? If housing loan, example, if housing loan there is a primary borrower and co-borrower. If the housing loan becomes an NPA, and if it is under joint loan, do you agree that primary and co-borrower both should become NPA? Yes or no? What do you mean by making both an NPA? Simple. My facility will not become an NPA. I think that both the SIP ID or trust ID as an NPA. Right? Theoretically, very good. Practically, none of the public sector banks in it, forget about public sector bank. Public sector plus foreign plus half of the private sector are not doing this. Nobody is doing. What are they doing? They are only doing civil. Because for them, both are defaulters. They will just report it to the civil. They are not tagging these accounts as an NPA in the system. That means what in my example, housing loan will get tagged as an NPA, and what will get tagged as an NPA? The SIP ID of the primary borrower. Because SIP ID of the primary and co-borrower are different because they are separate borrower in the banking industry. Because the primary has become an NPA and he has the auto loan becomes an NPA. But the auto loan be tagged to the SIP ID of the primary. And credit card, okay, you will say credit card branch quota required asking us. Okay, change it to personal loan. Whether the personal loan of co-borrower should. Yes or no? Now it should be. Check. Or if you have any friend of a branch manager, ask him. None of the banks does it. Practically what happens? Practically the SIP ID of the primary borrower only get cashed while doing the NPA adjustment. The SIP ID of the co-borrower does not get captured while doing the NPA adjustment. But that is not how the system has been designed to trust. Do you agree? IRAC makes something this should be an NPA. We read so much about IRAC norm. There was bank sorry. Co-borrower is a different borrower. So you are saying both the borrowers have equal, jointly and severally liable to repay the loan amount, and they have equal responsibility to repay the loan amount, and then they should be classified. Somebody mentioned that the term borrower includes co-borrower. That is what the RBI said. So this was the issue in one of our banks, and SSL, the manager who does the supervision, discussed with him. We said that why don't you all come out with a clarification? You come out with clarification for all small matters. Why don't you come out with clarification and say that all co-borrowers of the clarification? He said, Pankaj, where we have written that it should not be classified. We have not written anywhere that it should not be classified in NPA. The whole banking industry is not classified in the company.
Practically, let's say wife also has a CC. Take that, I mean, practically.
It's very simple. Customer ID.
Somebody said that customer ID of the wife
Yeah.
will be different
Yeah,
Let's say the primary housing loan
correct.
has been classified as an NPA.
Absolutely.
How do I know?
Very good.
Linked by
Your question is not that. Your question is how do I know that this loan has a co-applicate ones? Right? That's your question. In Pinnacle system, if you go and check the menu and you can take it, both the IDs, primary as well as co-applicant are mentioned. The only challenge we have is that they are not in the NPA system. Once you, and how many samples you have to check? One or two? You will get the system logic. If it is not happening one case, it is not happening in any case. You get one sample, and out of that one sample, if you get, and you see whether it has any other facility. And if it has not been tagged with NPA, it resolves the issue. That it is not an NPA. And tell me one thing, you get the whole loan dumped in an Excel file. Once you have converted, you can just play around. You can easily get, okay, how many housing loans which have been classified as NPA? How many trust IDs are there? 10, 20, 30, how many loans are there? Out of which, if you ask the branch manager, keeps to say joint loan, he will himself retain. Your job will become easier if you ask him the information without telling him what you want to do. If you tell him what you want to do, he will never give you the Yes. Sorry, sir.
HDFC Limited. Sanction term loan, including
Sir, question is that HDFC has given a loan and the loan disbursement, I assume that it's a mortgage loan, then only it will go to the primary borrower. Otherwise, it will go to the seller or to the builder. And the loan amount has come to whom? The loan amount has come to the primary borrower. And the primary borrower is repaying the home loan or mortgage loan from his own account. Sir's question is that how do you make co-borrower as the responsible? Because co-borrower is never in the picture. So should we classify this account as an NPA, right? You're saying that if primary borrower has defaulted, who has taken the loan, who has taken the money, and he himself is paying the loan on a monthly with the loan taken. Exactly the point. You answered your question by yourself. If you are a signatory to the agreement, legally you are bound to repay the loan. Tomorrow, if the primary borrower does not repay, you are caught by the banker to repay the loan. What has happened, public sector bank, without understanding the credits, they have made guarantors as a co-borrower. Actually speaking, in your example, the second party should have been a guarantor and not a co-borrower. That's why we have, and this is what as an advisor to our clients also we should be telling them. Please stay away from becoming a co-borrower. As far as possible, become a guarantor. Otherwise, you will have these kind of implications. Getting yourself caught in the wrong foot and getting classified as NPA. Look at this example, my friend. It's a very, very important issue. The branch manager, please.
if the co-borrower is having an account, the branch of the same branch.
It's a
Different branch. Say, for example, I am auditing having an account with the parent company and having an account.
correct.
So what my responsibility is limited to the NPA of JP Nagar branch.
Absolutely.
And so will there be any reporting responsibility since the is having a limit in Sakinata branch and he is a co-borrower to the main borrower's account, his account is
Absolutely. Because if Pinnacle you have a limitation, the account which is mapped to the sole ID only get appears in that sole ID. You will not be able to see the accounts with the other branch. That is what your limitation is about. Simple. Then it is not your responsibility. But yes, if you have come to know that this borrower has a limit with another branch, ideally, as a auditor, I should be highlighting to the second auditor, if I can highlight it. Or I should highlight it in my area. That this borrower has another facility with some other branch, the account should be classified as the respective branch. My point is that let's start classifying the borrower which is at my branch. Because many a times the relationship is 95% are restricted to one branch. I'm agreeing with your point that the relationship could be with multiple branches also. But largely the relationship is at the one branch. If you have a relationship with the one branch, it's classified that account first element. And then like go to the other cases which are the relationship with the other branches or the branches which is not in Bombay also. But you can have a limit to any branch. But my simple humble request to all of you is that pick up this issue. Pick up this issue. This is an issue. The branch manager will ask you 3 questions. And we in our bank and we have successfully implemented in our bank. He will say, IRAC will not have. That answer you have. IRAC does not require. कौन करता है और कैसे करना है? Correct. These are the 3 typical questions he asked. The answer. IRAC, I have clearly told you all there is no specific guidance, but both are jointly responsible to retail the facility. The term borrower, somebody said in IRAC could mean to include co-borrower. And both the borrowers should be classified as NPA. These are the 2 banks which have implemented this logic in today's scenario. And this is available in public domain. I am not giving something very private. The consumer education literature material which I told you, if you download of those 2 banks, they are very clearly written. If a loan account of a borrower is classified as an NPA, all other accounts of the same borrower or co-borrower also classified as an NPA irrespective of the old status in the other account. Both these banks are classified the account. They are not following some different IRAC norm. They are following the same IRAC norm what public sector banks are following. As an auditor, management, if you highlight these kind of issues to the Reserve Bank of India or even to the Central Statutory Auditor, this is what the quality they are expecting. They are not us now expecting that you say that how many accounts the DP has been computed incorrectly. Of course, that is an expectation. But those are traditional issues. I call them as a traditional issue. These are not traditional issues. These are like issues which are known to everybody, but nobody wants to bend the gap. Let's look at the example. And you all have to answer me now. I have explained you all co-borrower कैसे होता है. A and B are the primary and co-applicant. Am I right? They have a housing loan which has become an NPA. Now you have to play sudo. A has become an NPA. So his housing loan become an NPA. His auto loan will become an NPA. No other facility. What should I do with the B? What should I do with the B? Now it should get classified as NPA. Till today, these accounts are not classified as NPA. What is classified as NPA is only this account. This account was there in the picture. So ideally, what should happen? We should get classified as NPA. When I say classified as NPA, means it should get tagged as the NPA. That is what I am talking. Then what will happen is credit card will become an NPA, even though not my responsibility. What should I do with the C? What is role? C has a auto loan along with A. And A has been classified as an NPA. It has been implemented. This is the area they asked us, and this is the issue which we face practically. What should I do with the C? How many of you say Banana C could be NPA? Logically, also it should go right. This should not happen the half of the branch comes in. What should I do with C? Give me the answer. Let's classify some of the right first. What should I do with the C? Give me the answer. No, yes. No, yes. Yes. Classify the account. And how many of you say no? No, don't classify the account. Okay. So why you should classify the account? The loan account itself gets tagged, or the loan gets tagged in the NPA. So automatically. So the primary key gets which will have a domino effect on the personal loan and all things. Yeah, obviously, all C will become all this living into them. Sir, you also know what to do.
Because that's not a primary. So getting because of somewhere else.
So you are saying that why you make C as an NPA? Because C was not again responsible. And C has not reported in respect of auto loan. The auto loan has not become an NPA. It's not signing up. Of course, it will be. So why should I classify C as an NPA? Right? Current year, let me B as an NPA. And this is the answer of C also. And banks have implemented different practices. Out of those two banks, one has classified as NPA, one has not classified. The logic is that, and the argument which is given by the bank is very simple. Pankaj, why do you want to classify C as an NPA? And tell you, sir, auto loan will not get tagged as an NPA. The SIP ID of the A is getting tagged as an NPA. To understand, the facility does not get tagged as an NPA. The borrowers get tagged as an NPA. So in this case, what I will do, I will tag A's SIP ID as an NPA and still make a auto loan provision. To understand, I will still classify the auto loan as an NPA by making SIP ID of A as an NPA. But I will not make these accounts as an NPA, personal and mortgage loan of the C as an NPA. Because C was not having any fault on it. If I start doing it, I will be facing a legal consequence in the court. Saying that what was the responsibility of C? I was signatory to an agreement of an auto loan. The auto loan has never defaulted. It's nice to the civil. How can you classify an account as an NPA when in civil there is no default? And then I should be classified as an NPA. So that's why many banks have taken this view. This C should not be classified as NPA. Deep down, obviously, far better, right? So for current year, I would request you look at this issue. Classify at least B as an NPA. And this cannot be argued on IRAC norm basis by the branch. Because he himself will have a document of sanction letter, he himself will have a document of the loan agreement, he himself would have issued a notice to the board for repayment system. So let's look at this as an example and do it in the current year. One important point, ECLGS recoveries. Not many ECLGS are really classified as NPA because the moratorium has ended. And you all know very well, better than me, what are the use of ECLGS loans. The issue which we are looking at the banks, and if we have observed in the banks, is that the recovery which is coming from these guarantee companies. Earlier, CGTMSC guarantee used to come from the CGTMSC, recovery used to come. The ECLGS recovery, when it is coming from the central government or the guarantee company, some banks unintentionally, because the systems is not framed that way, is getting considered as a recovery from borrowing. Because where I will credit them, I will credit the loan account of the borrower. So, like for example, if you look here, and this is again I'm giving you a financial screenshot. If you look at this example on 6 December 2022, there is a ECLGS recovery which has come of 11,92,000. The loan account balance opening was 16,41,000, which has come down to 4,51,000. This recovery, my friend, should not be considered for the purpose of NPA upgrade. Because this is not the recovery from the borrower. This is the recovery which has been done from the guarantee company. And why, how I will check in the Pinnacle? Simple, है कितने ECLGS loan बने भी उनका statement है. One or two cases. System has to take this care, right? One or two cases, look at it, what has happened in that ECL. Whether those have been upgraded, not upgraded, you are very fortunate. Your bank is excellent. If they have been upgraded, they should again be upgraded. Because in Pinnacle, you have this menu where you can put just CGTMC account details, wherein you have to write whether this is recovery from various scheme of central government or state government. If you tag there, then the system should not ideally catch it while doing an NPA. So what is the recovery in ECLGS scheme? from the guarantee company cannot be considered as a recovery from the borrower, should still remain as a NPA. Very interesting. Again, a new concept, negative amortization. Anybody heard of it? Anybody? And this is all happening practically on the ground in banking. You had a housing loan, okay? After 6 rate hikes, the rate of interest has gone up, right? But many banks have chosen not to change. Why? Because the moment they change their EMI, you have this inflation on a high, and you have this EMI increase. The probability of default is very high. So what they have done, they have kept the EMI constant, and they have increased the tenure of it. And somebody in one of the conferences asked me, can the bank do it? If the bank can do it. Because if you go and read the fine print of the agreement, the bank has kept that option with themselves. That either I have to increase the tenure or I have to increase the EMI. So in this example, the bank has not increased the EMI and it has kept the EMI constant. By that, and by the way, if you have these kind of cases where tenure has not increased, and the banks which we are auditing, we have raised them a big issue. Because some of the loans are going maturity after 60 years. How can you have those kind of loans, which is maturing and your repayment is going after 60 years? The whole cumulative principal only will not get recovered. Somebody was telling me, when we raise this point, Pankaj we will recover his employee benefit and all, we're taking some promissory note and all. I said, do you understand what will be the accumulated outstanding at that point of time? Have you evaluated whether it is sufficient from an employee benefit which you will get? And what you think that you can get entire employee benefit, EF and all to recover your housing loan? So let's be very practical. So the first issue is that they are increasing the tenure. The issue for us to look at is that this was an opening balance level at the interest got debited to 10,000. It should be level at 10,000. There is a recovery which has come of 9,500. What has happened? The 500 rupees interest is not getting serviced. Right? Everybody forget about the principal. Forget about the principal because ideally both the recoveries should happen of interest and principal. That means EMI should get recovered. Second month also the same thing has happened, 9,800 and 9,500. Again, what do you mean by negative amortization? Negative. The start balance and the end balance should get on the reducing side. However, the start balance and the end balance is going on the upward. That means this is getting amortized in a reverse state. Will I classify these as name? Should I classify these as name? More than 90 days criteria. Will the system classify these as name? Will the system classify these as name? Anyone? Bank gives? Okay. So partial recovery of interest is there. Partial recovery of interest is there. So I should not classify the account as NPA since there is a partial recovery. Anybody else? Anyone? So anyone who is saying the account should be classified as NPA, let's hear them. Who says the account should be classified? More than 90 days, even though I have lower partial.
The partial thing also, unless like the partial thing doesn't cover.
So partial recovery is happening only of interest. Ideally, he was supposed to pay principal also, which he has not paid entirely. Will the system classify this? Anybody who is saying the account is not a classified NPA? Yes, sir. That is different. Then I will call it as a level. I mean, I can have different terminology for it because you are giving a top of it will depend upon whether the property values so much to give the top of facility. And if I give a period to recover this one, that means again I'm doing everything on that part. Coming, restricting to the facts of the case. Will I classify this account as an NPA? Yeah, it's an EMI. Because what will happen? ECL or the NAV will get debited for 9,500. So that will be 9,500 euros because it's not sending here. So this captured the point which I had not put it here. But process 90 will it be classified as an They are not changing. That was my question. Because they have increased the tenure of the loan. Absolutely right. Why has that happened? Because of the interest rate hikes 6 times, your repo rate has changed, which is linked to your home loan. Because in banks, all retail loans and MSME loans are linked to the repo rate. Because this was a decision which was taken that the repo rate increase or decrease, the benefit should directly get passed to the borrower. What was happening earlier? The benefit was coming to the bankers, they were changing the MCLR, and then the benefit was getting passed to the borrower. So RBI said nothing doing, you link all this loan to the repo rate. So because of the repo rate hike, my interest has gone so. Otherwise, it would have never gone. Obviously, I would have restructured my EMI. In this case also, I had an option to restructure the EMI, but the bank didn't do it. Because if you restructure the EMI, the borrower has to pay at least 15,000. And there is a probability that he might default. And I will classify that account. Simple. System is not classifying these accounts. But what is system is capturing? The system is capturing you versus recovery. 9,500, recovery is 9,500. Unless and until your system is running on a logic which says that amortization chart, the principal should have been, let's suppose, 10,50,000. And as for the actual, as of now, chart, the principal is 11,800. And the difference is more than 3 years. Then the system will classify this account. That means you are comparing the ideal amortization chart with the actual outstanding balance. And if the difference is more than 3 EMI, the system will classify the account. You ask Pankaj, pick up housing loans with the maturity. Housing loans maturity comes in the report, loan outstanding report. Look at them. What was the maturity decided till now? The maturity which is there now. Loan book of last year versus loan book of the date of maturity would have got changed sometimes. And those are the accounts which is of negative. Now the banks are classifying these accounts as an NPA to this. Yes. As an auditor, I should highlight those instances and say that these cases, the EMI should get rescheduled because the maturity is crossing more than 60 years as per the defined time. The bankers are arguing, and I'm discussing with one of the bankers. He is saying, Pankaj, the 60 years criteria is at the time of sanctioning the loan. And I only test this criteria on a monthly basis. That he is crossing more than 60 years or more. He said in NPA account, what should I do? In NPA account, I don't know when the recovery will happen. But any regret making that, but as an auditor, we should be yes. We are not getting a due of 10,000. We are charging interest of 10. If you look at a home loan statement, the principal does not become due in the account, right? What gets debited is only interest on. Only this gets debited in your home loan statement.
The charging of interest cannot be interpreted to the amount due.
That's why we are saying it should be classified as NPA. That is the reason I'm saying it should be classified as NPA. Because it has been demanded from the customer. But I'm saying system will not take it as NPA. Get this example and see that whether these accounts are getting classified as NPA or not.
Okay,
Does the system allow such a thing together? If you have any friends in NBFC and all, or in banks only, ask this question. Basically, I have worked so I have made it. Absolutely. In NBFC, this kind of situation happen, and the banks are no better than NBFC. ABCs. If the bank has not done that, I think
paper बन जाएगा once it is declared as NPA that the home borrower has to pay it or he can tell the bank that okay if EMI should be increased or
no, if you increase the EMI, I think you have to service the EMI. If he is not able to service the EMI, it's automatically coming. Process 90 days. In my example, sir captured rightly, it has not processed. But if it process 90 days, it has to classify it. First slide. Sorry. Sorry. I have to just go back. I just want to cover one point. I think I have covered 1 minute. Let me just see. So can you all just repeat whatever we said just now? What are the important points? I'll go to the last slide of the presentation. So I think I've covered. Before I forget, yeah, this is what I will do. See, we discussed about restructuring and all that, right? In case of restructuring, please remember this very carefully. Restructured accounts other than personal loans, COVID 1.0, August 6, 2020. Other than personal loans, if the account is getting classified as NPA, classification post implementation of RP, restructuring plan, the NPA will be earlier of date of implementation of RP or NPA date before implementation of RP. It will not be the 90 days BPD. It will not get classified on the 90th day. The NPA date has to go backward. It will go back to the date when the account was restructured, or there was a possibility that even if the account upgraded on restructuring. So NPA date before that. Please look at this very carefully. In the simple point is, a restructured account is a separate task because you have many implications related to this upgradation. That is one point. I think I'll go to the last. Yes. Don't do anything in the branch. Cover these points. The graduate don't take it later. NPA access. In NPA, we have discussed linked account upgradation. This slide will come to you. Don't take picture. Don't worry about the picture. Linked account upgradation we discussed. What are the examples? Quality of credit we discussed, which is what? Quality of credit example. TL credits, term loan credits which were coming in the account. Possible evergreening, which we discussed with Sir gave the example that I will give TL to close the recovery. Form over substance, if your bank is running an NPA on a PAN basis, then you are safe. If your bank is running an NPA on plus side basis, then there is a whole issue which is going on, double plus side. So that should also be included in analysis. I think that's a legacy issue. I am not discussing that. Forward classification. We discussed in detail. Security, existence and valuation for provision purpose. We discussed more than 3 years should become zero in system. Downgrade of restructured account. We discussed that it should go backdated. Revised PMI of negative amortization. We discussed. Recovery and upgradation of PCL GSP. Discussed. These are the issues that you can just look at. And let me tell you, these are all non-traditional. These might have tested it, might not have tested in earlier time. But these are some very critical and important points which as a branch auditor we should be looking when we are looking at entry. This is okay, do's in bank audits. I think you people are much aware about it. This is the area of coverage which I was talking in the beginning. We had around 46,000 branches, which got reduced to 33,000 in the last year. It might get further reduced in the current year also. As I was saying, BOI has remained constant. In fact, they increased the number of branches. Anybody from India? And IoT, I'm finding that person. How can they survive at 78% when the minimum requirement was 80? And this is from the published annual account. For all of you, take screenshot of this and photos of this. And if you get an answer, please email it to my email. I'm still not able to find the answer. You have a cash credit account which is running into credit balance. होता है ना? और overflow account. And 31st March there is a debit which has come. When he has made payment to some party. Should I classify that account as an NPA because there is no credits since 90 days? On 31st March, the account was never debit earlier. Should I classify that account as an NPA? If there was a credit balance, it would have classified deposit. No question about classification of an NPA. This account has come into debit only because of one debit on 31st March. Should I classify this account as an NPA since there is no credit on NPA? Not asking answer now. Think about it and send me the answer. The second NPA case, security valuation report has expired. The value will become 0 if your bank has implemented automation correctly. Whether such account should be classified as a loss. Because the value of security is less than 10% of the outstanding value. And I erosion normal criteria IRAC norm. Should I classify that account as a loss asset? So once you classify account as a loss asset, it can't be upgraded interchangeably. I can't say no because that loss last year it is doubtful now. Because my security has come. It cannot be the case. So should I classify that as a NPA, as a loss asset, and post 31st March the valuation report is obtained and the value is coverable? These are the two questions which I'm still not able to find the answer. If you can find it, send it to my email. That's what I'm saying. Will you accept it? Accept the valuation report post 31st March for a value which has to be inserted as on 31st. Whether the valuation is accepted, again I will repeat my question. The valuer might get the valuation report as on 28th Feb also. If the valuation report is coming post 31st March, should I accept it while considering the NPA provision? What you will do if an account which was not an NPA on 31st March and the account becomes an NPA on 2nd April?
Because the moment you can say no, this is going to be LP because value report, the branch manager will say, okay, I'll get it done within a day.
Can you make an adjustment for that? It's a non-existing event. If you look from AS4 perspective also, sir, it's a non-existing event. Why? Because the initiation of valuation has started post 31st March. Because if the initiation started and you would have got the valuation, you would have updated the valuation. What you will do for post balance sheet recovery? Are you upgrading the account on post balance sheet recovery? Worry about the balance sheet. It's not the point. This is where the RBI catches us. The simple point is the NPA has to be reported on a daily basis. The account which is an NPA on 31st March, I'm accounting for them as 31st March. If I extend the bank logic that I will get the valuation report on 4th April or 6th April, why should I not take those accounts which have been classified as NPA from 1st April to 6th April as on 31st March? If you want to take the benefit from this side, you should be ready to bear the burden on the other side also. And this is what RBI has been telling on post balance sheet recovery. Please don't accept it. Let it go to the central statutory auditor. If he wants to upgrade it, let him upgrade. He will never upgrade. So post balance sheet date recoveries, please don't entertain a transfer because you don't know what practice, right? You might be doing it, somebody might not be doing it. And then he will say that okay, this branch is upgraded. Try to get it. These were few points, my friends, which I thought I will cover as part of the IRAC now. Nothing to do with 90 days, nothing to do with that, how we value your security, etc. Thank you so much for your patient hearing and your wonderful insight.
Pankaj, just for my knowledge, what is the position of the guarantor if there is a security lying behind the loan and if there is no security means first one guarantor is there and another one personal loan has taken and guarantor is also there. So can the bank recover from the guarantor or what is the
See, the flow of recovery goes like this, as per the law, also that the bank is supposed to dispose of the secured assets against which the loan has been given. If the bank has not been able to successfully dispose of, either not because the property is not marketed, but because of that bank internal lapses, they can't go to the guarantor. Anytime if there is any guarantor who has been approached by the bank, the first right of recovery is on the security against which the bank has funded the loan. If they have not been able to recover, then it falls on the bank guarantor. Till then, it doesn't fall on the bank.
and where there is no security means personal loan is there and
Then the guarantor is.
guarantor personally is responsible. If he is not
That is the logic of giving guarantee, right?
X.
So there is an exception. I think if there is a slide also. There are two exceptions which are there. Loan against short-term deposits and all that. If there is an adequate margin which is available, the loan account can be excluded from NPA classification. To explain your question, let's suppose you have taken a loan against term deposit and you have taken another housing loan. Now the housing loan has defaulted. Housing loan has defaulted. Then the exception would apply on loan against term deposit. But if your loan against term deposit has defaulted and adequate margin which is available not to classify that loan as an does not become an exception. Housing loan has to be classified as an NPA. So that means let me very clear, exception is available for which type of facility. Because many banks try to extend it. These are classified NPA even I so कैसे NPA. No, this account has to be classified as NPA. Anybody else? Yes, sir, you have to.
Regarding the second account good. So what should be my rules or
2 to 3 points. One, first we need to say that because see, you always agree that the banking is what? The banking is helping the customer. That's the basic principle. But as an auditor, what is my role? As an auditor, my role is that whether this is a one-off instance or this has been done regularly to avoid the account getting classified as an NPA. Now, if the one-off instance is there, like for example, you mentioned that somebody has taken a loan. And that there is no business relationship between the two. As an auditor, let me tell you, because I have been trying to prove in many cases. If there is no business relationship, then 100% this amounts to an evergreen. But if there is a business relationship and this is the only, you might look for an option. But if there is no business relationship, that means suddenly this first money has come and he is repaying the loan. And where the disbursement has happened from the bank only, then it is nothing but a circular asset. We have just taken the money to give the loan to another party. And I would be less stricter. No business relationship and with a continuous such kind of treatment, I would call it as a probable error. But I would tell you all also one thing. Once you have decided, and this I'm telling you very frankly and very openly, once you have decided to classify account as an NPA, then classify it as an NPA. Whether DGM is calling you, whether AGM is calling you, or whether GM is calling you. The feedback which goes in the market by these bankers is that, okay, the auditor has identified some account, I will come and discuss and we will resolve it. Once you have decided, because we do so much working to identify account to be classified as NPA, and at the end we drop it. And this time, yesterday I was there in the panel discussion for Center of Audit Quality. Vishal I was there. I told them that why don't we, okay, last year I understand the circular on UTIN came on 12th April. By that time, most of the branches were signed out. Why don't we come out with a UTIN? Because now as a branch auditor, you require to put the number of NOC and the quantum of NOC also. Just come out. We come out with such a beautiful report on UTIN and give the statistics. How many MOCs were passed by the branch auditor? Linked to the IRAC classification or interest reversal. This will change the perception. And this 70, 80 and all will go away. So once you have decided, then classify that account. As I said, you have to look at the instance of the case. Because many times there could be genuine business difficulty. By the way, if this logic would have been given, all COVID restructuring should have been taken up. Because this was done only to help the customers to move in their business or ECL facility for that. Anybody else had anything? I think that the FAQ is very clear that as an assignment is one only one. My request to all of you one more thing, since we brought the concept of certificate. There has been too much issues from the institute side that the chartered accountants are not issuing certificate in the format because all these are pre-specified format, right? My sincere suggestion, and we have been following wherever we give the certificate, is that take a certificate, a kind of certificate which is there in the institute guidance. Normal certificate, auditor responsibility, management responsibility. And all these certificates should be just an annexure to that. What it will save? It will save taking the onerous responsibility on interest subvention, on education subsidies, so on and so forth. Because you are not going to sit and verify hundreds of loan accounts. And in that certificate, there is no way you can write that you have done on test check this. Because it's a pre-specified format. And I will do not test check business because I can check 100% of the. So please take that covering letter or covering certificate. Attach the certificate as a part of that main certificate because UTIN will remain one. UTIN will not change from certificate. And try to write it that please read the certificate in conjunction to our main certificate. Because the person who is reading the certificate should know that the auditor has done a test check. अभी तो नहीं है 2008 में तो loan waiver scheme many were fought because they had given the interest so they were to the eligible class. And it could happen. So Awas Yojana ka scheme nikal gaya. So otherwise it can happen in those cases also. How much we will verify? So please, my sincere request is that try to go through that main certificate at least start implementing it. Anyone else? Absolutely. The central statutory auditors were asked a report that please give the number of NOCs at the central office. Right. So they will also be very careful because I cannot just drop any NOC like this. I have to give a receipt. So I think the central audit and this was the RBI was aware, and that's why they had sensitized the auditors by asking in this that because if I have to give an NOC which I have dropped, I have to give the reason for dropping it. I can't just rely on the reason because there is no difference between the central site auditor and the statutory branch auditor. Only the roles and responsibility differs. It's not a seniority or authority or kind of thing. Only the roles and responsibility differs from both auditors. So if one person has classified the NPA reading the same IRAC norm, How can you remove that account and appear by making the same item? So it will not happen. If it was happening, it will not happen. Thank you. Yeah, Tiwari. In case. Yes.
One is the audit firm who are into cooling period. Say for example, till 24, and here you has to give you last 3 years. Thing. So will it be
No, I will repeat the other files.
other type? And the peer reviewer will not be restricted to the previous bank audit.
No, not. Here it's certificate on the form, it has nothing to do with it, right? It will review your other file. What I meant to say that if you are an auditor of the current year and the peer review certificate is coming, then this file will get written. If you are not getting, then other files will be reviewed. I mean, if you are not doing a branch, other files will get reviewed of your form. Anyone else? Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to propose a very hearty vote of thanks to today's speaker, CA Pankaj Tiwari. You have seen that he was on his foot throughout, and he's kept all the audience on us also on their feet. Thank you, sir, for your very interactive session, very informative. And I really think that all of us present here have gained immense knowledge out of his deliberations today. I would like to thank today's coordinators. I would sincerely want to thank all of you who have been here, interacted with the speaker, make it more interesting and informative for all. Thank you. I have a few announcements just before we break. As I announced earlier, on first there's one more session on bank audit, that is the Excel tools. I would like you all to take benefit of it. Also, we are proposing to have our AGM on the 9th of April. The final dates and the final agenda and everything will be circulated once it is finalized. We are planning to have a session on RERA. It's like a panel discussion from GST as well as in direct tax point of view, right? So would like you all to please be present here. Also inform your friends and other colleagues to be present here. Also, as you're aware, a new team has been elected at the WIRC level, the new chairman and the new team. We are inviting them also to facilitate, felicitate them. And you can interact with them. It's a very good opportunity. So request you all to be present along with your other friends and colleagues. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
9 what you are planning?